So we came back over here. We started having a good time. We decided we were going to do our absolute best and be content with that. And I would like to suggest to you that with this newfound happiness, our gameplay completely changed. It did not. We continued to suck. We still got lost. We still were navigationally challenged. But God began to work in us a process. A part of my prayer began to be, God, I want you to write on my life your story. Win, lose, indifferent, I want you to write on me what you want to be said and done. And God brought to mind that passage that starts to talk about suffering. Suffering leads to perseverance. Now, if you go back to Mr. Google again, you'll find the definition of suffering or perseverance to be to continue in a course of action, even in the face of difficulty, with little or no indication of success. Now, in the context of our evening, let's hear that again. To continue in a course of action, even in the face of difficulty, with little or no indication of success. Not only is that the definition of perseverance, that was the definition of our race. Never did we have any indication of success. But we had decided we were not going to do anything less than our best. We were not going to give up in this race. It was not going to be taken from us. We were going to keep not striving, but keep working to the very best of our ability. And we have examples of people like this. Recently I was in Montreal and had the opportunity to meet a 70-year-old gentleman by the name of Jack. Jack was diagnosed with Parkinson's at the age of 40. Jack's idea of responding to Parkinson's was to start running marathons. In the last 30 years, he's run 25 marathons. Wow. And I'm a runner. It's encouraging. It's hope-inspiring. It gives us something to work towards and something to hold on to when we have those days of hopelessness. But my question then goes beyond that, beyond the perseverance, beyond the continuing in the face of no success. How do we walk away from the stories and still sustain hope for ourselves? We have to allow our character to be developed. What is character? Character is that mental and moral quality that makes us who we are. When we allow life, the race, the difficulties to shape us, to make us, to deepen who we are, we go from suffering to perseverance to a better person. And it takes me to an old analogy that I heard years and years ago of a mighty oak. How do you build these giant trees that stand down in California, the mighty redwoods? Do you put them in a greenhouse and watch them get that big? No. Like Psalms chapter 1, verse 3 says, you plant them by a stream of running water, of living water. You put them outside, you let the winds buffet them, you let our snows cover them, you let them get frozen in our wonderful winters, you let them get struck by lightning every now and then, and as their roots go deep, their branches go wide, they become a mighty oak that offers shelter, protection, and hope to those around them. And for us, we know that those roots need to go deep into Christ, that is our center, that is our core, and that's where hope stems from. We have the opportunity of not hitting just one elimination leg, but two. Out of 8 legs, we came in second twice, third once. Otherwise, we were last or at the bottom of the barrel every single leg except for one. We only won one, the one that mattered. And thus the blessing of Parkinson's. People have often asked me, how can you say that Parkinson's is a blessing? Well, I promise you it's not a benign part of my life. Benign means meaningless, nothing, just kind of there. It is more than just there. It's a pain most days. I refuse to allow Parkinson's to be a curse. If it's not benign, if it's not a curse, I have to accept it as a blessing. And if I'm going to accept it as a blessing, I have to understand that God has allowed this into my life to deepen who I am as an individual, to make me better as a person, that there is something that He wants for me and in me that I could not be, could not have without Parkinson's. Do I question His rationale some days? With you? But there's good things to come out of this. Some of them are already evident. It got me on the Amazing Race Canada. You heard the prize was $500,000. I got on to the Amazing Race Canada because of Parkinson's. I proved to myself in running the Amazing Race Canada that I could do more than I ever thought I could. Getting up the hill into Iqaluit was more than I could have personally done on my own. I needed my 23-year-old strong boy to haul me up that hill. And I literally grabbed onto the back of his jacket, and he literally pulled me up the hill. And it was marked out in 50 feet increments with little flags. And my running of that hill was just stellar. I was a prime, fit, lean athlete. Every 50 feet I would stop at a flag and go, because the girls were always coming. The girls were always coming. And most of the time passing. But it also is teaching me that perseverance works. That when we embrace our suffering, when we embrace perseverance, when we allow it to take who we are and change us and better us and deepen us in Christ and as individuals, it works. I discovered that not only could it get me on the Amazing Race, but it could not take the Amazing Race from me. That day after day, leg after leg, we persevered. We said we're not going to give up. We're going to do our best today to stay in this race. The end result being whatever the end result is. Today we will do our best just to stay in the race. Not only did it take us to a win in the race, but it's teaching me that in life, Parkinson's cannot have my today. It will win. Without a cure, be assured, I know something that most of you don't. With high probability, I will die of some complication related to Parkinson's. I am at peace with that, because I'm not dying today. Today I spent two hours with a bunch of 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, telling them about the wonderful thing that God has blessed me with. Last night I got to spend in this room a wonderful couple of hours with people just like you. Today I'm back. Today I am very much alive. Today I may have Parkinson's, but it does not have me. And that is my encouragement to you. That as we face the things that cause us to suffer, that we embrace them and persevere through them so that they deepen who we are as people, so that we can give hope to others. So that we can pass on that hope. People will often ask me, well, aren't you mad at God? Don't you often ask, why would God let this happen? I turn the question around. Why would I be mad at God? And what is so special about me that God wouldn't allow this to happen to me? I was born in 1964 in Robstown, Texas, right on the coast. Born of a white mother, sired by a black father, married, not her husband. In 1964, she lived in Iowa. It was not a good time to be a half-breed kid in middle America. Thus, my wonderful, God-fearing grandparents sent their daughter off to Texas to have her little boy. She was put into a girls' home. I was immediately put into a boys' home. By the grace of God, I was adopted by a pastor and his wife. From birth, I have been in the house of God. I have known the truth of Jesus Christ. I was raised by parents who had 3 children of their own, only to go on and adopt 6 more. I have told them repeatedly, you clearly had more heart than brains. And I thank God for it. They They raised us in a wonderful God-fearing home, gave us the tools and skills that we needed to go on in life, to go on and get educations, to be gainfully employed. I am a nurse making a very fine wage. I have grown up to get married to a wonderful woman of now 28 years. We have 4 healthy children who love the Lord and are carrying on in their walk with Him. How in the world could I ever come to a conclusion that I would have any right to be angry with God? I live, most of you live, within the top 10% of the planet financially. I am among the very rich of our world. How could I ask anything more of God? And how could I presume to tell the Creator of the universe that you have made a mistake in giving Tim Hague Parkinson's? There is something absolutely insane in the prospect in my mind. But it all comes down to my understanding of God. And that is that, first of all, there is a God. If you're going to be angry with somebody, it presumes that you believe that He exists. I believe that He exists. And in believing that God exists, I believe that He is God, which carries the presumption then that I am not. Further, I believe that God is a good God. I don't believe that He gave me Parkinson's to punish me, to make up for some wrong that I have done, to teach me some lesson that I needed to learn because I was a bad, rotten little sinner. I am a bad, rotten little sinner, but I don't think that Parkinson's is related. He is God, I am not. He is a good God. And He has allowed the things into my life that I can handle. And if I can't handle them, He's going to give me what I need to handle them. Now, if that's not your faith structure, then you've got something else to work with. Or you're going to have to figure out something else to work with. But that's what I believe. I believe that's what Scripture teaches. He's God, I am not. He is a good God, and He will only give me what I can handle. So I have Parkinson's and not something else because I can handle Parkinson's. I probably wouldn't be able to handle what He's given you. So again, how could I begin to question the God of the universe? All I can do, all I should do, is to stop and take joy in the fact that if I allow it, I am being made into a better, stronger person because of it. And a huge part of that for me then is giving hope and reaching out to my community. A big part of what we're doing